Today, I wish to consider one introductory theory concept for a chapter of retirement or a death of a partner. Observe the screen. As per Indian Partnership Act, a partnership means relationship is terminated or dissolved by reorganizations as under by various reconstructions and reorganizations in the partnership agreement. The partnership relationship changes means previous relationship terms and condition comes to an end and the novatio new relationship under the new terms and condition between the same partners comes into existence. They are known as reorganizations. The following are the three reorganizations wherein the partnership is terminated, not partnership firm. Partnership is dissolved, not the partnership firm is dissolved. Notice it. By change in the profit sharing ratio of existing partners, the partnership terminates but partnership firm continues under the new agreement. By admission of a partner, the relationship of existing partner changes by admission of a partner. So there is a dissolution of old partnership and new partnership under new agreement comes into existence. But it is not a dissolution of partnership firm. It is a dissolution of partnership. Same way by retirement or death of a partner, the partnership agreement changes, profit sharing ratio also changes. It is also a dissolution of partnership, but not the dissolution of partnership firm, which we are going to consider in the next chapter. So notice what happens, but the firm does not cease to function and the partners under new agreement carry on the business. So in retirement is also a reconstitution of partnership firm. The terms and condition for profit sharing ratio or profit sharing between the partner changes because of retirement, but firm continues, business continues under the new agreement. This is the first important concept that you should notice. Now, circumstances of retirement of a partner. The circumstances of retirement of a partner can be classified into two categories. One, according to the Indian Partnership Act, and second, voluntary retirement due to personal reasons of the partner. Now let me discuss these 2 points. First, what are the various circumstances under which partner retires? For that, these are the 2 options according to the Indian Partnership Act. Let me first discuss this A point, then I will consider the B point. As per the Partnership Act, any partner can retire from the partnership firm under the following circumstances. 1. By consent of all partners. Any partner can retire from a partnership firm with the consent of all the partners, not by majority rule. So there is a mutual consent, free consent of all partners for retirement of any one of the partners. By notice, a partner possesses a right to retire from the relationship by informing other partners about his or her intention to leave the partnership firm. So every partner has a right to retire. For that, he is required to give a notice to the other partners of his intention for retiring, but the notice should be given in writing. By agreement, on the basis of terms and conditions of the partnership deed or partnership contract, a partner can retire. So as per the terms and conditions agreed between the partner, a partner has the right to retire or partner is retiring under the terms and conditions or agreement between the partners. Due to insolvency, as and when the partner is declared insolvent, declared is not a good legal word. The good legal word, when a partner is adjudged, adjudicated insolvent, the partnership ends from the date of insolvency. So partnership comes to an end by the act of insolvency by a partner. By death of a partner, obviously partner retires by death. Not only he retires from the partnership firm, he retires from this earth. So partner ceases to be so in the event of his or her death. Next, by expulsion, dismissal. Under the dismissal provision in the partnership agreement, other partners can dismiss the concerned defaulting partner. A partner can be dismissed for any act which may be identified to be an act of moral turpitude. In such circumstances, a partner can be expelled, can be dismissed from the partnership firm. Now, we have considered the various modes by which partner retires. Now, let us consider the B point. Observe the screen. Voluntary retirement due to personal reasons of a partner can take a decision to retire on his personal grounds because of his inability to work, because of his physical inability, because of his other intentions for the rest of the life, any some such reason. It is mandatory for an active partner to give a public notice about his own retirement, otherwise he is responsible for the third party obligations which arises after his or her retirement from the business. This is a very important point. Whether the partner is liable to the third parties for the acts of partnership firm after the date of retirement, the answer is yes, if two conditions are satisfied. One, he is an active partner. Second, he has not given a public notice of his retirement. So what is the inevitable requirement? Every active partner, when he intends to retire from a firm, he has to give a public notice of his retirement so that he can keep himself outside the obligations of the firm that may arise after his retirement. Now, important accounting aspects and the accounting treatment relevant to partnership retirement. So, which are the various points to be considered for the purpose of accounting for retirement? It is important to determine the amount payable to a retiring partner or his successor or an executor of a retired or a deceased partner at the time of retirement or death of a partner, where remaining partners decide to carry on the partnership business. For this, date of retirement and other relevant issues to be considered are as follows. Now see, when a partner retires, first thing, how much dues are payable to him? That is the first question arises. Those dues are payable to the retiring partner if he is alive. The same dues are payable to his successor if he has died. The same dues are payable to the executor of his property. But in any such situation, we have to determine and decide the amount payable to a retiring partner as per the terms and conditions of the partnership agreement. Now see. Now for the purpose of determining the amount to be paid at retirement, the date of retirement is also important. The date of retirement can be classified into two categories. The partner retires at the end of the accounting period, one situation, or partner retires between two accounting periods. So in between the year, if partner retires, how to determine the amount payable to him? These are the two situations. So time and the date of retirement is also crucial. When partner retires at the end of the accounting period, we have already prepared profit and loss account. He is given his share in profit. But if the partner retires in between two account ending dates, means in between the year, then we are required to work out the profit and loss account till the date of retirement. And we are required to work out the profit till the date of retirement. And the retiring partner is also required to be given a share in it. So, date of retirement is very important for the purpose of determining the amount payable to a retiring partner. The other things also are relevant, which we are considering one by one. Distribution of accumulated reserves and undistributed profits or loss. So at the date of retirement, there is a general reserve. there is a credit balance of profit and loss account, there is a workman compensation fund without obligation. All are undistributed profits. These undistributed profits should be distributed amongst partners at the date of retirement between all partners before the date of retirement. Secondly, revaluation of assets and liabilities. So whatever the profits and losses are existing in a firm till the date of retirement, the retiring partner should get a share in it. For that purpose, you are required to find out the revaluation gain or revaluation loss by making revaluation of assets and liabilities, and net gain or net loss is to be distributed amongst partner, or the retiring partner is to be given share in such profit. Computation of the new profit sharing ratio and the gain ratio as per the agreement between the partners, continuing partners. Goodwill and its accounting treatment. Determination of the share of profit of a retiring partner from the date of last accounting year till the date of retirement. This is an important point. Necessary accounting entries for joint life insurance policy. Joint life insurance policy is a redundant concept. Final settlement and the payment to a partner on retirement of. So these are the various issues which we are going to consider in the theory lectures. In this theory lecture, I am going to consider point number 1 and point number 2. The computation of new profit sharing ratio will be discussed in theory lecture number 2, means next lecture. Goodwill and its accounting treatment will be considered in the lecture number 3. This will be considered in lecture number 4. The necessary accounting entries for joint life insurance policy is not explained in detail because it is made up, it is kept out of your syllabus. And final settlement, this concept has been explained while solving the sum from exercise, that is sum number 31. So this is how I am going to discuss the theory before you. Now let me consider first 2 points: distribution of accumulated reserves and undistributed profit and loss, and the revaluation of assets and liabilities. These 2 points I am going to consider in brief because we have already considered these 2 points in previous 2 chapters, that is partnership admission, and chapter number 3, that is reconstruction of a partnership firm. So I will consider these 2 points in brief. For this, as I have explained to you, will be considered in subsequent lectures. Let me start. The accounting treatment of accumulated reserves and profits. Existing undistributed profits and losses are disclosed in the balance sheet till the date of retirement of a partner, are distributed in old ratio, that is profit sharing ratio, before retirement. The undistributed profits and losses appear in the balance sheet is as follows: general reserve, profit and loss account, capital reserve, workman compensation fund without liability. Then profit and loss account appearing on the asset side is an undistributed loss. These are undistributed gains. They are distributed and credited on partners' capital account in the ratio of profit sharing before retirement. This is how it gets distributed. This is what you have studied even in the chapter of admission, and this you have studied even in the third chapter. This is a loss distributed and debited all partners' capital account in the ratio of profit sharing before retirement. So this is to be distributed, debited to the partners' capital account, this being loss, debited to the capital account of all the partners before retirement. Now see, accounting treatment for revaluation of assets and liabilities. Observe the same. Existing profits and losses till the date of retirement of a partner are distributed in old ratio, that is profit sharing ratio, before the retirement of a partner. The profit and losses subsequent to the date of retirement of a partner are distributed in the new ratio, that is profit sharing ratio after the retirement. Now for the purpose of finding out this profit or loss to be distributed amongst all partners, partners revalue the assets and liabilities for finding out existing profit and losses till the date of retirement of a partner. For that, revaluation account is open to record the facts of these revaluations. This account is also known as profit and loss adjustment account. So to find out the profit that exists till the date of retirement, we are required to revalue assets and liabilities. On revaluation of assets and liabilities, gain or loss occurs. This gain or loss are compiled, and for its compilation, we prepare revaluation account or profit and loss adjustment account. This you have already studied in 2 chapters before this chapter. Now let me explain this concept in brief, which is just a repetition. For that, revaluation account is prepared. Decrease in value of asset. On revaluation, what happens? Either there is an increase in value of asset or there is a decrease in value of asset. Increase in value of asset is a gain, will be credited. Decrease in value of asset is a loss, debited. Increase in liability. Increase in liability is a loss. Decrease in liability is a gain. So decrease in liability gain is credited. Increase in liability loss, debited. If you are required to pay unrecorded liability, it's a loss, debited to revaluation account. Increase in bad debt reserve provision, increase in any provision, say depreciation provision, increase in depreciation provision means it is a loss, so it will be debited to revaluation account. Now as against these 4, opposite, increase in value of asset credited, decrease in liability credited, unrecorded asset, the realizable value of unrecorded asset credited, decrease in provision credited. Now this is how revaluation account is prepared, taking into consideration the revaluation of assets and liabilities. Now, if the total of credit side is more than total of debit side, excess of credit over debit is known as profit. This profit is distributed and credited all partners' capital account in the ratio of profit sharing before retirement. Now suppose by chance if there is not a profit, the total of debit is more than total of credit. What happens? Then loss occurs. This loss is distributed and debited to all partners' capital account in ratio of profit sharing before retirement. So in old ratio, this loss gets distributed. This is how revaluation adjustments are all considered. You have learned these things even before also. This is how it's considered, and the revaluation account is prepared for the purpose of accounting of an amount payable to a retiring partner as of the date of retirement. Now I have tried to explain you 2 basic concepts relevant to the accounting of retirement. I have tried to explain them. I think you have followed all these things. Thanks to us.